Welcome to the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast, where we're pushing the limits in business, life, and health. And today it's episode 34, and we're talking about the 10 things that Elon Musk says are the rules for success. I'm Brian Benson, and next to me, well, he eats the skin on kiwis, Mike Stull. And he wrote a book called Dominate Your Day, and he's going to dominate your day. Right now, check it out on his website, michaelstull.com. It's there for $19.95.
And before I get started with our reading, I want to give a special, unique shout out to Jack Owak, creator of the Bang Energy Drink. Jack, hit us up, brother. We see you over there in Weston, Florida. We're right across the alley in Naples.
Hit us back, Jack.
Hit us back, Jack. Cheers. Brian's already
I'm already shotgun this. It's so damn good.
Alrighty, here we go. Sometimes you have to take a step back and ask yourself, what type of example are you actually setting? Is your work ethic, your drive, your ambition worth imitating? What are you showing others by your actions and routine on a daily basis? Are you inspiring others to be their absolute best? Believe it or not, people are watching you. There's nobody you need to be other than yourself, and that includes greatness on all levels. And the quote at the bottom, which I love this quote, I do not want to get to the end of my life and find that I lived just the length of it. I want to have lived the width of it as well. And the person that said that is Diane Ackerman. And I think that the reason I chose this one specifically for this is because, you know, it's asking, are you inspiring others to be their absolute best? What are you showing others on a daily basis? And I think that the reason for the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast is because we are trying to do those things. We're trying to set those examples. We're trying to have a work ethic that is worth imitating, and we're trying to pay it forward. So hopefully those that are watching and listening, that's what we're doing for you.
Awesome, awesome. We love it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So these are Elon Musk's 10 rules for success.
Who the heck is Elon Musk?
I've never heard of him before, but we found these and thought, hey, he had his own rules, so we figured, hey, this guy must be successful.
I think he sent a spaceship to outer space. No big deal.
I think he built something called PayPal. I'm not sure if anybody's ever heard of it. Maybe one of those Tesla things.
He's taking a lot of money from me. On PayPal, that's for sure. User fees.
Oh, yeah. Damn, man. Lower those user fees. Shout out to Elon Musk.
Yeah. Damn, Daniel.
Yeah, for real. All right. His number one rule is never give up.
I think that the most important common denominator for entrepreneurs and people that are trying to chase their dreams is never giving up and having the persistence to keep moving forward. Because again, we talked about this in our last segment, that if we looked at something that did not work out according to plan as a failure and we gave up, then, you know, the statistics show that an entrepreneur averages around 3 to 4 failures before they actually strike a big idea or that their business idea actually comes to fruition. So, you know, you're going to come across obstacles and things that, you know, make it appear as if you're not going to be able to climb over that wall. But you have to have the idea that you're not going to give up. You started this idea for a reason. So you obviously see and you believe that it has some importance to you.
Yeah.
Or else you wouldn't have thought of it in the first place. So don't give up on that idea.
Yeah, I have 2 things to say about that. It's like, one is, look, sometimes the market isn't accepting of your idea. So it's okay to let go of that. When you say never give up, it just does, in my opinion, I don't think you give up on yourself or the idea that you want to be an entrepreneur or a business owner or create something that's going to change lives. Sometimes the idea just doesn't work. Sometimes that just happens, and it is best to give up before you kind of wave the white flag and start something different before you drain all your money and all these things.
That's a good point.
But when I say don't give up, is you kind of alluded to it, was just don't give up on yourself. Like, don't give up on the idea of the bigger dream.
Yes.
You know, sometimes the smaller ideas, but the bigger dream don't give up on. And the person I want to talk about, you know, in that is Ray Kroc. He started so many entrepreneurial journeys. Now, he didn't start McDonald's. He stole the idea, basically, pulled a Zuckerberg. Anyway, joking, Zucks.
Hit us up.
Hit us up. Please build an audience for us. Anyway, he had so many entrepreneurial failures. He raised so much money for different things. If you ever watch the movie, he does all these things until he found McDonald's, and then he just created that and grew it and made it to what it was today. He's a true visionary. But the reality is this guy didn't succeed till he was 50-something. So what I mean is he did give up on other ideas. He gave up on his milkshake idea. He gave up on some other things, but he didn't give up on himself. So never give up on who you are.
Yeah, and I think that is the main point, because the truth is, like you said, the market may not be ready for it, or you might just have a shitty idea, which it happens. You know, you might not have a good
I've
product.
never had one.
Yeah, I mean, you're perfect, so you're like the top 1% on that. But no, it's true. Because you could drain yourself of all your resources, your energy, your money on something that you probably should have maybe switched paths on, adapted it, was more flexible, or just did a new idea. I think that is never give up on yourself is the key thing, because the truth is you're not always going to have a great idea.
Yeah.
I guess the point that I was getting to when I said you came up with these ideas, you're being creative, you're trying to do something more than just status quo, like hold on to that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
the bigger,
not necessarily just one particular little idea. All right, number 2, really like what you do.
All right, hold on, I got jacked up for this.
Hit us up, Jack. Hit us up.
All right, I got to get jacked up on my bang. I think it is so important to understand that you need to like or love what you do, but you also have to understand you're not going to like every aspect of what you have to do. I love InspireLink. I love that business. But there are things that I don't like to do to make it come true, to make it come to fruition. Tech side of things, some of the non-people side of things. That's something that I don't like. So I don't want everybody to have this fantasy that I have to totally like what I do, but you have to like it overall enough that when you do have to do the uncomfortable things, things that you don't like, it still propels you through those times.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. But you should like what you do. At the very highest level, you should have a like for what you do. Don't just clock in, clock out. Really, actually, you need to leave that job if that's what it is. Yeah. You need to. I know sometimes people don't have a choice, but you need to like what you do. It really is important, because it will push you through the times where it is annoying, the monotony of things that you have to do just to make the bigger vision come true.
Yeah, and kind of expanding on what you said, obviously, and I've had to do this myself, and I'm actually currently doing this right now. I'm being transparent. Is sometimes you do have to do things that you truly don't want to do in order so that long term, for the rest of your life down the road, you can do what you absolutely love to do. Some people are not in a position to go 100% full-blown entrepreneur, myself included right now. I'm part of that group where I'm having to do things right now that I don't necessarily enjoy, but I'm doing them because that's the reality. And I think to be a successful entrepreneur, you do need to take calculated risk, which we've talked about before. The one quote I want to say too, and I just jotted this down, is, and I'm going to try to say this off the top of my head, is entrepreneur is living your life right now like most people won't, so that you can eventually live your life like most people can't. Exactly. And that means doing a lot of the things that maybe other people honestly don't want to take the time to do, because they want to skip to automatically doing what they want to do for the rest of their life. And it's you got to earn that,
You do.
Some people are fortunate to be able to make that jump right away and do exactly what they want to do. I'm not one of them people. You're still grinding right now, building the business. So, we're taking steps to get to where we want to be.
Yeah,
so I
totally
agree. What
agree.
we really want to do.
Yep, that was, couldn't have said it any better, bro.
Number 3, don't listen to the little man.
Oh, that was me to say that, wasn't it? Nah, you caught me off guard.
You paused, man, so I took it, bro.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, if you pause too long, you lose your spot. Move your feet, lose your seat. So snooze, you lose,
This one's good for you, though.
This is something that I think is really, really important. And I think that as we go through our journey and build something that you want, there are going to be people, the naysayers, the people who are going to say things to you all the time. It's just going to happen. I interviewed an entrepreneur. He created Sick Cups. And I said, did anybody ever laugh at you or like kind of tell you your idea was stupid? And he's like, yeah, I remember we were like partying in the garage and one of our friends came over and he's like, dude, you guys are selling cups. This is so stupid. Like, blah, blah.
Yeah, like think about it. You're selling cups.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. You're saying all this stuff.
What's so entrepreneur about that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, this isn't even that good of an idea. Well, they ended up doing $5 million in revenue the first year. So shut the hell up, little man.
Exactly.
But that's the reality of it is like, everyone's going to have their own opinion. People are going to say stuff, and you can't let that ever get to you. You just have to do you all the time, and you can't allow, because we have enough voices in our head, don't we? We have enough little people in our own head giving us, lizard brain and imposter syndrome and things of that nature. Like, we don't have time to have listen to other people
right.
and what their opinions and their thoughts are. Yes, you can respect and hear it, but you got to be like a duck to water, baby, and it just rolls off your back.
Yeah, and that's true what you said too, because as an entrepreneur, you're going to have some doubts of your own. So why would you add fuel to the fire by listening to anyone else's doubts? You know what I mean? Like, if you're an entrepreneur, more than likely you're probably already your own biggest critic.
Oh, totally.
So why let what other people say affect you? And I wrote down some notes here. Like, I honestly think when people say you can't do that or it's not going to work, like, that's honestly kind of like them saying what they almost feel about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, honestly, I believe that I'm going to be successful. I believe you're going to be successful. So you will not hear me saying that's never going to work or, saying something negative like that, because that's not how I feel inside.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like shit's going to work. You know what I mean? So I feel like what they're kind of saying is really like a reflection of how they feel about themselves. And I wrote down, misery loves company. Like, most people, not everyone's going to want to see you succeed. And that's the truth of the matter. It's like, some people are comfortable in their comfort zone, and it makes them uncomfortable to see you go out and do things, because it's kind of like a reminder to them maybe of where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And people hate that. Like, when you work very, very hard, it really pisses lazy people off.
Yeah.
It's a reminder of them of that you're not really doing anything. But I'm sorry that you feel that way. You came up with that on your own, because I'm too busy focusing on myself and my team and building the future that I want to build.
I agree. I mean, that's the truth. Sometimes the people there's sort of an envy that maybe pops up when people see you start taking action and start getting there, and they don't want to be left behind, but they don't have the confidence in themselves to go do it. So they may try to tear you down. And the reality is, after that guy, after I asked him, okay, what was your response to your friend after he said that? And he was like, well, you know what? Maybe my product just wasn't for him. But how do I know I couldn't turn to the next guy and he would go, that's the coolest product ever.
Right.
If 1 million people are telling you your product sucks and it's a bad idea, probably it's a bad idea. Yeah. But 1 or 2 people, yeah, I would continue validating and talking and things. But that was the reality. That was the whole thing about what he said. It was just like, have unwavering confidence in who you are and what you're doing. And if one person says nay, well, maybe the next person says yay. So you just need to kind of get that little man out of your head, get him off the street, because that's not good for anybody,
Yeah, and I mean, gosh, I guess I'm going to bring up politics on this one.
Yeah, that's all right.
But hey, it's no holds barred. On the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast. But for example, let's say Donald Trump really truly let it bother him, who supported him. Well, guess what? He was focused on the people that really were supporting him, and he won the electoral vote. Now, people can say whether or not that's fair compared to the popular vote, but he was really focusing on the people that really supported him, and it got him into position.
Yeah,
he wasn't necessarily focusing on the negativity.
Exactly, and that's with anybody. I mean, you look at anybody that's a caliber of that type of success, though, only does. Think about Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan and LeBron James. They just focus on the positive, the things that are driving them, the people who are behind them, the people who believe in what they believe in. They don't let these outside things come into play at all. Right. That just it's not even on their radar. You know, and it's so. I mean, I think you bring up a good point. I mean, he never ever let the little man was what he calls it, tell him, oh, you can't run for president. That's stupid. He's like, why not?
Right, exactly.
And he won. So, all right, number 4, take a risk.
We've talked about this before, but again, it's always worth talking about again. But I think the key take home for this, and you said it well last time, was that to take a calculated risk.
Yeah.
I think part of me, for my personal struggle that I have endured in the past, was the risks I have taken weren't as calculated. Looking back on them, on hindsight, it's always 2020, but looking back on my risks, they weren't as calculated probably as I could have had them. I kind of almost went a little bit more shoot from the hip, and I wish I could go back and change that, but I can't. But I think the key is you're not going to do anything special with your life unless you are taking risk. If you want to work a 9 to 5, that's fine, but how do you know, unless you try, if you couldn't work 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then do whatever the hell you want to do for the rest of the day from 10 to whatever because you're a successful entrepreneur and you made a ton of money and you're successful? How would you know without taking a risk that you could have an entire day, an entire week, an entire month to do whatever the hell you want to do with your free time, financial freedom, to do whatever you want with your family, travel, unless you took a risk to see what you're capable of?
It kind of reminds me, down here in Southwest Florida, there's that E9, those birds, those bald eagles, the story. But no. But what you just said is like really important. Is the bird? He was standing on the edge of the nest. He's brand new, and he fell. And they didn't think he could fly, and he just started flapping his wings, and he took off. Sometimes it's just a little bit of a pushing yourself. Push yourself over the edge. You will surprise yourself at your flying abilities. Sometimes you just got to learn how to start flapping your wings a little bit harder, and you will actually start soaring. And
I do love that.
You have to take that risk, though. If you don't jump off the edge, who knows? You may miss out on some of the greatest adventures of your entire life.
Right. And I think a lot of people, building from that, will say no to opportunities and different things that come their way because maybe they've never done it before, or it scares them, it's out of their comfort zone. Well, you know what? That's a prime opportunity to actually say yes.
Yes.
And then try to figure it out as you go. If you're presented with an opportunity and, maybe you could make $5 million or something, no, I'm not comfortable doing that because I don't know anything about it. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, you got it.
Yeah.
I'll get it done. And then I'm immediately going to research, well, how can I get this particular thing done? I'm going to try to learn as I go and figure it out. Sometimes it's the fear of the unknown. You need to embrace that.
You have to, sometimes it is ready, fire, aim, isn't it? It's just so
and that's kind of why I kind of was shooting from the hip a little bit when I took my plunge into entrepreneurship, and it didn't work out exactly as planned, but, you learn from that.
Yeah,
but
you have to.
There is a little bit of a... You're not going to know everything, so part of it is going to be jumping out of the damn nest and trying to fly. Yeah. I just happen to have one broken wing that I didn't know about.
But you have to. You got to try, and I think what you said, you summed it up perfect. Like, if you're, sometimes opportunity comes at really weird times, and you may never feel like you're ready. But a very successful guy once told me, he goes, prepare, prepare, prepare. Always just be prepared. So when your window of opportunity strikes, you are ready. So no matter what it is, have some kind of skill set or something ready, but I would just never turn down something that could be great. If Mark Cuban came to me and said, invest $1 billion into something, I don't know anything really much about investing, I would take that and be like, okay. And then I'd go find all the resources to help me get there. But you got to say yes. You got to say yes. You got to take the risk.
Yeah, you'll never feel 100% ready.
You aren't. Think I was ready to have a kid?
Be ready to not feel ready and then go after it. What did you say?
You think I was ready to have a kid?
Oh, I know. Yeah, prime example.
You're never ready.
Brian gets married, and then a day later, we find out that Brian's going to be a dad. We were like, whoa.
But you just got to do it. You just got to do it.
Right. This one I'm gonna read for Brian because we actually talked a little bit about this before we went live on here. Focus on the signal
We forgot one, but that's
did
okay.
I
We'll
skip?
go back. We'll go back.
Shoot,
We'll go
I
back.
was so excited about
We'll go
this
back.
one.
We'll go
All
back.
right. All right, I'll read this one and I'll read the next one too.
Okay, whatever.
All right, this next one is do something freaking important, damn it. Seriously, do something important.
You know,
I got it.
you know, you gotta, you have to do something important. You have to do something that's larger than yourself. You have to push yourself into those uncomfortable, out of your comfort zone kind of thing. But yes, I think it's so vital to doing something. I guess I don't know how to say it. Something important, because it is do something important. But do something bigger than yourself, because I am telling you something that's out of your comfort zone that's bigger than you, and it will be so important. Don't just do things because it's going to benefit you. I think it's great, but I just truly believe in making an impact. Like, if you look at things at the significance over success, you will want to do things that are important. And significance can be greater than success in so many ways. It's like, it goes back to like I know Gary Vee says this, it's like, oh, I just care about how many people show up at my funeral. Like, that's because he feels he's doing something very important. Putting out so much free content into the world is important for him, because look at all the people who love him and say, you've helped me get over this, you helped me, you inspired me, you motivated me. And that is, that's a big deal. I think it's really, it's just something you need to be aware of to do something important.
I think that if you do something important, you're going to impact people. Mm-hmm. Like, and you said it perfectly, because I don't have much to add to that, because you summed it up, is rather than focusing so much on yourself, if you do focus on doing something important, you are going to impact and inspire and touch the lives of so many people around you, which in return will probably increase your chances for success, because you are reaching and touching so many lives with your intellectual property or your product or service or whatever it may be. All right, let's move on to the next one, because this is the one I was excited about. Brian, because I asked him what he thought about this before we went live, because I wanted to get his opinion. You know, he's deep and philosophical and into anthropology and all that stuff. So focus on the signal. This is kind of a unique one. Focus on the signal over the noise.
And I guess my response to that was, if you're looking at a radar and you see the blip on the radar, you need to focus in on that, and that's your target. That's where you're going. Stop listening to the things and the distractions all around you. The part of that is the little man. That is part of the noise. Yeah. Part of the noise is even in your own head. Part of the noise are the naysayers. Focus in on what you want and go get what you want, because you deserve that. And I think if you look at it, that's the signal. That's the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the rabbit you're trying to catch. That is your target. So look at it as you are on a gigantic grid. It's battleship. You got the one ship you need to go hit. You need to focus in on that, and don't worry about all the other things that could possibly happen or go wrong or whatever. Like Mike always says this, put your blinders on and go after it.
Yep, and I will testify to that, because there's been numerous times where I've texted you about maybe frustrations, or maybe about something someone said, or even something that someone didn't say. Yeah. That like I kind of felt like I wanted to get that support, and you said that to me, like you were like, bro, like you would text me back and say, that is just white noise. Like, that doesn't even matter. Brian would text me back and say, put your head down, focus on what you need to do and get to work. Like, don't worry about that. You said that your dad, has dealt with white noise throughout his career. And I would imagine that anyone that has really tried to accomplish something in their life has had some sort of white noise along the way. And as I always like to use that analogy of, all these tempting parking spots along the path that, you need to just put your blinders on and keep driving, because there's a much better parking spot way into the future, which is where you want to be. So I will say that Brian is living proof of that, because you've texted me that support numerous times.
Yeah, and you have to really think about this, and there's no Look, the white noise can be anything, and that's what I want you just to be aware of is the white noise could be very close to you. The white noise could be your spouse. The white noise could be your parents. The white noise could be your brother, your sister, somebody that's very, very close to you. And you have to sometimes learn that even though they love you, maybe they're doing it out of care because they don't want to see you fail or get hurt or anything, but sometimes you just got to believe in yourself so much, because at the end of the day, I mean, you are the only one that can believe in you that much.
Right.
And you have to say, no matter what anybody says, whether it is my spouse, whether it is my brother, whether it is my dad, whoever it is, sometimes you just got to say, I understand, I hear you, but I'm not moving off this path, the radar, I see the blip, I'm going for it.
Yeah, that's perfectly said. And we haven't talked a lot about health on this particular segment. And again, sometimes we totally forget about that, and we're trying to actually talk more about health.
Just think about health every time we talk about anything.
And so I thought, as you were talking about that, I thought a good example in health and wellness is a lot of people really get focused on going to the gym and working out to get a better body and improve their health. And a lot of times, like family members and even friends will say, dude, you're so obsessed with going to the gym. You know, it's all about you going to the gym and working out. Well, I don't listen to that. You know why? Because going to the gym makes me feel better. You know, it makes me feel better just physically. It makes me feel better mentally. It's like my outlet for things. So a lot of people that do fitness competitions, they're told that they're super selfish and this and that. Well, that's their goal. If they listen to everyone say, oh, why are you trying to get into such good shape? Well, because they want to, and they have an end goal, and you can't focus on what other people are saying. You know, like if Mr. Olympia, who has a great life, he loves what he does, he's very passionate about bodybuilding, he doesn't give up. If he stopped and listened to everyone say, dude, why are you going to the gym so much? Why are you so focused on your body? Because that's his passion.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to explain that to you. That's what he likes to do. He enjoys what he does, so it doesn't feel like work. He doesn't listen to people, talk shit or whatever along the way, because, again, he's providing for his family. He has his own damn schedule. I'm speaking of the current Mr. Olympia. He lives a very successful life, and he's very passionate about it, and he loves it. So hats off to him for doing that,
And in that health and wellness world, like, I applaud those people, because you know what? They have so much discipline to stay so focused on that one thing, because I have friends that have competed and things, and you're out and you're like, dude, have a beer, like have a burger, and that person's like, hell no. But that's me being white noise to that person. Then I'm like getting annoyed because I'm like, what? There's good food here. I want the freaking French fries.
Brian's like, come on, dude, everyone's drinking. It's like a cool thing to do, and you're that dude that's giving them peer pressure. You know what I mean?
But you know what?
We've all done it.
Oh yeah, but I mean, but that person has stayed so focused to what they want, and I think that's badass at the end of the day, because then they're up there like, and they're like, their Speedos looking all cool, and I'm not.
And you got that dad.
And I got that dad vibe.
You got your baby. Yeah, in fact, you're not even holding your baby. The baby is resting on your gut, on the top of your gut, like a table. Like you got that baby changing table, son, and it's your stomach. You got that mixed up. You know what I mean?
Oh,
think about it though. Like probably you and I have been white noise to others.
Oh, totally.
Their goals.
Seriously, what this just brought out was like, I need to have more self-awareness around people
of other people's
when they
goals.
want, because I've probably been the little man. I have been the little man. I have been the little man. I have been the white noise. It's reality. It sucks, but now I know, Mike.
And that's part of the growth process.
Yeah.
Though. That's part of how you are learning and growing, because you're out of your comfort zone, and we're talking out loud. This is an online diary. Like sometimes I leave here and I'm thinking, damn, I could be a little hypocritical because a lot of these things, but I'm not denying that I am or am not any of these things.
Right,
in most cases we say that we are, So anyways.
The next one is look for problem solvers. Bang, bang.
Yeah. The look for problem solvers is, I don't want to hear a bunch of bitching and like, your no complaint project thing. I've actually had that on my mind a couple times over the past couple of weeks, because I found myself throughout the day, honestly, making a conscious effort to say like, why would I bitch about something Rather, why wouldn't I try to find a solution about it? Like, what is the point of me complaining? Like, I even think of it from a faith aspect where I'm like, geez, like, I don't want to bitch and complain about things when, like, I'm very blessed by God to have what I have, to be healthy, to be pursuing what I want to pursue, and so I feel guilty on that. But that no complaint thing that you started, I think about that, and I'm like, there's no sense in a bunch of people coming with a bunch of problems and bitching about stuff.
Excuse me.
Try to come with some things that could frickin' solve the issue, or come with a different perspective. Bring something to the table other than whining, moaning, and bitching, especially if you're not going to do something about it. That's the worst.
I know.
And I've been guilty of that too.
We both
I'm trying
have.
to get better at that.
You know, and I
So
can
get off my shit.
get off. And I can speak on the health and wellness aspect of this. But it's like,
Wow,
I don't have abs. And I'm like, but I'm not solving that problem. I'm still eating like shit. I'm not doing the workouts that I need to be doing. I don't have the body that I want, but I'm sitting there complaining about it, bitching about it. And I'm not solving the damn problem.
This is perfect too, because technically I'm Brian's trainer, so I get questions from him like, bro, how do I get abs? And then I'll tell him, then he'll come back and he's like, I don't know, man, I don't have abs. And I'm like, Brian, number 7, please look for problem solvers. I don't want to hear you bitch about eating Cheez-Its all the time, processed carbohydrates, no protein, lackluster workouts, and you're going to come to me and say that you don't see your body changing?
I know. Look at this. I'm getting scalded here. I'm going to go home. I'm ashamed.
No, but that is a great point, though, and that's true. A lot of people in health and wellness, and that's made it very hard for me as a trainer over the years.
Well, you've had to hear people complain about that stuff, and they don't do anything.
I can give it to them on a silver platter, you know, everything, and that's what I do. And you could still go eat a brownie and come back to me, oh, it's not working. What? Did someone put a gun to your head and force you to eat the damn brownie? No, it comes back to willpower. The willpower is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. And that's the thing with business too, is unless you're like challenged to go out of your comfort zone, you're not going to grow as an individual. But like that's the thing with health and wellness. I can show you everything, lead a horse to water, you can't force it to drink. You know what I mean? Like you have to, what I've noticed is you have to have a certain level of readiness no matter what it is, business or health, especially for health. Like if you tell me you want to get into the best shape of your life, but you're like a 2 out of a 10 on level of readiness, I can't do shit for you.
Yeah, I know.
You can't do shit for you unless you really want it, and that you are so sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, if you're sick and tired of being broke, then we need to do something about it. If you're sick and tired of being overweight, then we need to do something about it. So we need to find a solution.
Solve problems.
Damn it, 100%. Number 8, attract great people.
I mean, this is the, you know,
be magnetic, Brian.
You know,
be magnetic.
I interviewed an entrepreneur earlier today, and when I asked him about leadership, I mean, one of his big things, one of the first things he said, surround yourself with great people. Surround yourself with people who believe in what you believe in, who want to achieve a great mission together, and who want to crush it. I mean, it's one of the biggest keys to leadership and success. Attracting people is influence, and influence is leadership. Nothing less, nothing more. Like, you have to be able to influence people. You have to be able to attract great people, and you have to attract people who are smarter than you all the time. I'm not going to go into a room that, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong damn room. I can tell you that. I will not bring people into my business, into my life, that I think are not smarter than me, because you have to constantly be leveling up every day in all aspects of your life. I'm not going to go find somebody who is, you know, mediocre at health and wellness. Like, I'm going to go talk to Mike because he's great at health and wellness. The best. He should be number 1 on Instagram.
You attract what you put out there.
You do.
And I'm a firm believer in that. And there's been times where I've been negative myself, and I had to stop myself in my tracks and check myself, because I asked myself, okay, number 8, attract great people. Like, if I'm being, like, I don't want to be around negative people. I wouldn't want to do this podcast with you if you were negative all the time and a Debbie Downer, which you're the complete opposite, which makes me want to do this podcast.
Even though I had to basically beg you for like months to do this podcast.
That's a whole different story, Brian. We'll talk about that when we go off air, okay? Dude, I buy him a Bang energy drink. Shout out to Jack again.
Jack. Hit us up.
But like seriously. And then I get that. But no, and that's the truth though, is that I'm attracted to your energy and your positivity and your desire to succeed that it makes me want the same thing. Like your passion for something should be so much that people want to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. You know, if people don't want to be a part of what you're doing, then that's not a good sign. You know, you're not putting out those good vibes. You know, I feel like I'm a good read of people, so I pick up on people's energy right away when they walk in the room. Mm-hmm. You know, and I want to be one of those people that when we walk in the room, people are attracted to that. They can automatically sense that, like, I have a sense of urgency, positivity, and that I want to accomplish something. I don't want to walk in and people be like, damn, he kind of looks like, you know, like lazy or something, or just, you know, he's just way too super chill, you know? Like,
yeah,
I think of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Like, he says that you need to work so hard that when you walk into the room, you don't need to introduce yourself. Your energy introduces it to yourself.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. People want to be around positivity. The next one is have a great product.
This is what we kind of talked about in the beginning about never giving up. Like, I think that it's not enough to be passionate or be a great salesman, because if you have a really shitty product, I mean, at the end of the day, like it's kind of hard to consistently sell a shitty product. You may be able to sell some very gullible people on a shitty product or service, but eventually word's going to get out. And nowadays with like internet and social media and all that stuff, people will find out very quickly if you have a shitty product or service. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very easy for the word to get out nowadays if you're bullshitting your way through something. So I truly believe that you have to have a good product with good customer service and, you know, the power of referral. If you're in business, there's nothing better than the power of referral of someone that's so happy about what you provided them with that they go and tell someone else. There's nothing more powerful than that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you know, the biggest thing about having a great product, the first thing I would say before you do anything, do not go just build something that you think is going to be awesome. Validate. It's the lean startup. It is the way to do things, is you go out and you talk to as many other people. Is this a pain? And if I build this, will you buy this? Yes, no. It doesn't matter what you need to validate the idea first. Everyone's like, oh, I don't want to tell people my idea. Well, chances are you're not reinventing the wheel. You know what I mean? I would get your idea validated before you go out and actually execute the idea. It was actually funny. I was at a breakfast like a year or maybe 2 years ago, and I'm talking to this guy, and he goes, I got this idea for this new kind of Under Armour, but it's more of like it had like padding inside, so like it was almost like so your elbows couldn't bend the other way. You know, it had like little like metal in there, but it wasn't metal. But anyway, it was kind of a good idea, engineer kind of thing. But he's like, yeah, I got to buy all this stuff, and you know, I'm going to do this, do that. And I was like, well, have you actually like gone out and asked people like, oh, if I had this, you know, type of Under Armour or padding or something, like, would you buy it? And he's like, no, I haven't. Actually, I never even thought about that. And I said, so you're going to go spend $400 on this, like $1,000 on this, blah, blah. Yeah, and I talked to him probably 3 months later, and he's like, dude, you probably saved me a lot of time and money, because I don't think like if I would have built that, it would have gone anywhere. And I was like, oh, wow. Dude, yeah, because you never validated the idea that the product would even sell. So you're going to go buy you're going to go make something that no one's going to buy?
So you send them an invoice in the mail a couple weeks later for your advice and services.
Free 50. Yeah.
The last one, right?
Yeah.
This
number
one,
10.
I mean, I don't know what else more there is to say about this one. Frankly, we probably hit our maximum for our podcast length. Number 10
Just say it.
Work. Believe it or not, people, number 10 is, I know this is hard to comprehend, but you got to work super hard. You really do. Like, I don't know what else to say about that.
There's nothing. It's work super hard. That is it. Number 10, it's over. So the challenge, I mean, I'm not going to beat that one over the head. If you're not willing to work super hard, then just go be a cog and work in, clock in 9 to 5 and just be a mediocre person.
And that's what The Rock says too. He says that he's never going to let someone outwork him.
Yeah.
You know, like
I
in the weight
agree.
room, anywhere. And there's something to be said about that. I mean, he's only the highest grossing paid actor in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So
there must be something to that, I guess.
Yeah,
That hard work thing. Oh, hit us up, Rock. All right. Anyway, the challenge the challenge that I think that is important to talk about, that I think out of all 10 of these, because I like to usually do the challenge around something that we've talked about, and the challenge is to not listen to the little man. That is going to be the challenge for you to block out white noise. You know, if you have been and you've allowed people to come into your life and deter you from what you want, I want you to totally confront that little man or that person, and it could be your parents, it could be your spouse, it could be a friend.
You may need to hit him in the face. It may need to get physical.
Yeah, you need to just tell that person, this is where I'm going, and because of you I haven't been, but I'm letting you know that I'm going this way, and this is what I need to do for my life, and it's either you support me or you shut the heck up.
Yeah, go grade school in their ass and say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never hurt me.
That's exactly right.
You know, put your blinders on and get to work. And that's a great challenge, too, because I'm still doing that challenge right now of not listening to anything else that's going on around me, unless it's constructive criticism. There's a big difference. So definitely take that challenge to heart. The health tip for this is called active rest. Instead of sitting on your ass in between exercises, whether you're at home or you're at the gym or wherever, do some jump rope, do some jumping jacks, do some burpees, do some kettlebell swings, do, anything that gets your heart rate up, like jump squats. I mean, do something in between your exercises to keep your heart rate up, but it's not too intense to where you can't somewhat recover for your next exercise. So a good example would be, let's say you do 10 walking lunges down and back, and then you do 15 jumping jacks, and then you go into your push-ups. And then you take a minute rest, and then you repeat that. So you're going to be burning a lot more calories by interspersing some cardio within the workout rather than having to do it before or after.
Active rest is not you bros who are out there, do a set on the bench, and then sit there and text. Texting is not active rest.
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
Gotta hate that. Yeah. You sit on the machines, you get up, and then they sit there and text and text and text.
Yeah, don't be a bro at the
Don't
gym.
be a bro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. Elon Musk's top 10 rules for success. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We love you. We care about you. Please subscribe, rate, and review. And we will see you all on the next episode.